Hi everyone, this little video is going to help you with the operating principles section of task 11, and if you choose to do your draft paragraph on operating principles, I'll talk about that in this video as well. So let us find first of all task 11, and we're going to the operating principles section. You've probably already done the parts analysis section, but we're using the same document, Design Guidelines for Green Roofs, for all of task 11 actually. Okay, so let's take a look at this next little question. It says a green roof does not have one operation or function with a series of steps to be described for an operating principles paragraph. That's what we saw up until now. We looked at the Gravia lamp, we looked at biofilters, we looked at geothermal heat pump systems, and basically they do one thing and we describe a series of steps from beginning to end. Okay, we've got a little bit of a different situation here with green roofs. Instead of just one thing, you'll need to focus on a green roof's main functions. I think there are 4 of them, and give details on them. So pages 8 to 10 of the Peck and Kuhn document, that's Design Guidelines for Green Roofs, gives information on these functions. Let's go there quickly. Design Guidelines for Green Roofs. We had that first page. Pages 4 and 5 give stuff on the parts. And now we're into page 8. We start with this section, Public Benefits. That's where we're going to find our main functions that we want to talk about. It does 4 basic things for the community at large, for the public. One is this urban heat island effect. We're going to have to read that to find out exactly what it is. Storm water retention, so it retains, it keeps storm water. Air cleaning and creation of habitat. That's the 4 things that it does. So we need to talk about those 4 things in our operating principles. Okay, going back to the question, it says, what paragraphs from Up on the Roof give information on the same functions? So going to Up on the Roof, I'm going to go to that text only section because it's easier to find the paragraph numbers. So somewhere in here, you've already read it, so scan through it and find the section where they talk about those different things, about this urban heat effect, stormwater, creating habitat, that kind of thing. You want to find those paragraph numbers. Okay, so he does talk about it in Up on the Roof, but in our new document, Design Guidelines for a Green Roof, there's more detailed information. So we're going to use that to answer, to write our operating principles paragraph. Okay? The next thing asks us to write a topic sentence. So really all you're doing for this section is finding where they talk about it in Up on the Roof and then write a topic sentence. Once you've understood all of that stuff, okay, we're writing a topic sentence for the operating principles paragraph. Before you do it, look at the example topic sentences for technology which does more than one thing. Okay, there is a document called Topic Sentences More Than One Thing. It's the same place that you found this assignment. I'm going to go to that now. Okay, so have a look here. Before, we talked about 3 different ways to come up with a topic sentence for an operating principles paragraph, and the best way, really depends on your preference. All 3 could be used. But we're taking a look at a 4th option here. The 4th option is for when the technology does more than one thing. So just like before, because we're talking about operations, we need to use a word similar to the word operations. So actions, functions, operations, there's lots of different things that you could use. Okay? So here's our 4th option, when the technology does more than one thing, and here are some examples. Here's something called in situ mining. We haven't talked about it in class, but you can get an idea from this sentence. In situ mining includes the operations of oil extraction, 1, production, and distribution. So it does 3 things. Okay, we've got that word operations, and then we just list those 3 things that it does: oil extraction, production, distribution. Let's take a look at the second example, the function. So I've used the word functions here. The functions of a tunnel boring machine are to process and move soil and to line tunnels with panels for underground highways. So it does 2 or 3 things. I've listed those things in the topic sentence. Here's one for the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble Space Telescope has a number of actions, operations, actions, functions, all kind of similar words, including taking pictures of space and transmitting them to Earth for use. So for that topic sentence, it's pretty simple. You just give the name of the technology, use a word like operations, actions, functions, etc., and then list those things that it does, those different things that it does. Okay, so that's really all there is to that part about task 11. I'll be doing another video about the formal sentence definition, but I'm going to use the rest of this video to talk about doing the draft paragraph. So before you go on, if you're going to choose to do your draft paragraph on operating principles, make sure that you've read everything in Design Guidelines for Green Roofs in those pages. You've written that topic sentence, pause the video, and then come back for the rest of it. Okay, so if we're going to talk about the draft, let's open that assignment. But I want to talk first about what a draft is. So a draft is a first version of something that you're writing that you're going to rewrite later. You're going to make a better version of it later. It's always good to do this. We never do things perfectly the first time, especially with writing. So you write something, you get all your ideas down, you show it to a person like me, someone else to look at your writing, give you comments, or even you just, take a break and come back to it and reread it, and you're going to write it and make it better. You're going to improve on it. Okay? So, which one should you choose? Should you do parts analysis? Should you do operating principles? That's really your own personal choice, but my suggestion is to do the one that you feel less confident with. Okay? So if, for example, you're good with parts analysis, I think I know how to write it well. Operating principles, I'm not so sure. That's the one you should probably do. Why? Because I'm going to give you help with it. I'm going to give you comments. I'm going to help you make it a better one. So my suggestion, do the one that you feel less confident with. Okay? Okay, so let's make sure that your parts analysis is more or less around about 150 words. Yeah, it can be a little bit less. It can be a little bit more. Don't get too hung up on the word count, although you don't want to give too much information, right? Because this really is a technical summary. It's not details. The person can go and find the details later if they need them. And if you don't use a certain amount of words, you're not giving enough information. Okay? So first of all, your topic sentence should integrate the paragraph organization. We're using this technique, which we just talked about, when the technology does more than one thing. So start with that topic sentence that you already had from task 11. You start with that topic sentence. Okay? Then you want to make sure that your paragraph is complete. Again, you'll probably need at least 125 words. You're going to be talking about those 4 functions of a green roof. We're going to be giving all the needed steps. Now, in this case, we don't have a lot of steps for each one, but each one has 2 or 3 steps. Okay, so the urban highland heat effect, combating this effect. There's about 2 or 3 steps that are listed there. How does it retain stormwater? There's 2 or 3 steps listed there. Again, we're not giving details about why this is a good idea or any details about the study in Portland, Oregon. This is not necessarily useful. How it does it, how it retains that stormwater, that's important. Same for how it cleans the air, 2 or 3 steps involved, and the basics for creation of habitat. Don't get into too much detail, just a little bit on those steps. Okay, oops, let me go back here. Okay, so coherence, make sure you're giving that information in the right order. So you indicated in the topic sentence what order you're going to give them, follow that same order. Sometimes there's a cause and effect going on, so make sure that's there. And Don't give like all of the information in one big long sentence. Alternate between a sentence with a little bit of information and a sentence with maybe a little bit more information. Simple and complex sentence. You want to alternate between them, and make sure you're only describing how those functions work, how it operates. Don't, again, talk about benefits. Don't talk about studies done sometime. Just talk about how it works. Okay? In terms of handing it in, guys, as always, please double space your work. This just makes it easier for me to give comments and write on things and give you some feedback. Use Calibri 12 if possible. If it's not, it's really not a big deal. But if you can, please use it. You can type your answer in Word and just send me a Word document. You can type it in any program that you want and save it as a PDF. Okay? Just don't send me Pages files because I can't open them. So if you use Pages, you can save it as a PDF. You can export it to Word, whatever you like. So any PDF is fine. Or you can write directly on Blackboard. There's this little button called Write Submission. You click on, and then you just type away, and you've got your submission. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is marks. As I said, a draft is something that you do once, you get comments, and then you rewrite it. So half the marks, 2.5 out of 5, you'll get that automatically when you give me a draft. As long as I can see that you've done a serious attempt at the paragraph, I give you 2.5 out of 5 automatically. Okay? The other half comes when you hand in your final assignment. So what I want to see is that you've looked at my comments and you've made changes to your paragraph. You've made your paragraph better based on my comments. So if you do that, you get a mark, another out of up to 2.5 if you really followed my comments. So that's how you can get your full marks. Give me the draft, you get half automatically. The other is based on the changes that you make to your paragraph. Right? Okay, guys. So that's it for the operating principles little video. There's one more for the formal sentence definition, and I'm going to go record that. See you later, guys.